together. It's Arrested Development. Fateful Consequences. Lucille's status as the queen bee at
years. And those are the last years, George, the best years where you can have sex and not worry about getting pregnant.
All right, here's the good news. They only got you on stealing their boat. They didn't even touch us on the financial stuff. Get out of here.
When? Better be before the money runs out. This place isn't cheap.
I know. And you are running up those spa bills.
The same girl who hands me towels does the cavity checks. You tip.
Barry says he can get your sentence reduced if you agree to leave here and go to Lucille 2's rehab clinic.
That's the bitch that put me here.
I have another idea. Now, you know China Garden?
I know the one by the harbor.
No, this one's a person and that one closed. China Garden's aunt, Olive, is very well connected with the Jade Triad gang. It's a prison gang here. And believe me, they will protect you.
That's a gang? I thought they were tech support.
As it turns out, years later, Austerity would be joined by a member of the Bluth family, albeit as a new therapist.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Tobias Funke,
and the separate journeys that eventually gave them no choice but to come back together. It's Arrested Development. Fateful Consequences. Lucille's status as the queen bee at the so-called country club prison where she was held began years earlier.
3 to 5 years. And those are the best years where you can have sex and not worry about getting pregnant.
All right, here's the good news. They only got you on stealing their boat. They didn't even touch us on the financial stuff. You're gonna get out of here.
When? Better be before the money runs out. This place isn't cheap.
I know. And you are running up those spa bills.
The same girl who hands me towels does the cavity checks. You tip.
Barry says he can get your sentence reduced if you agree to leave here and go to Lucille 2's rehab clinic.
That's the bitch that put me here.
I have another idea. Now, you know China Garden?
I know the one by the harbor.
No, this one's a person and that one closed. China Garden's aunt, Olive, is very well connected with the Jade Triad gang. It's a prison gang here. And believe me, they will protect you.
That's a gang? I thought they were tech support.
As it turns out, years later, Austerity would be joined by a member of the Bluth family, albeit as a new therapist.
hello, everyone. I am Dr. Tobias Funke, and I will be your therapist. Yes, I'm getting to that. And I am also a registered sex offender. Now, let's have a rap about it.
Tobias was there because of a merry mix-up.
Is there a little girl here all by herself? Daddy needs to get his rocks.
We don't have to hear this again. But he was arrested despite his innocence.
No, I'm not a raccoon.
Because instead of asking for a lawyer,
this creep chose to ask about a more pressing
Is this
matter.
going to be SAG or AFTRA?
and for the first time, Tobias started to get recognized for his television work.
Oh, no, no.
So one time it loads. The second time it doesn't load.
Representative of who I am. Anus Tart. Yep, that's me.
Fortunately, Tobias, who had once turned down an offer from Lucille 2,
How would you like to come work for me at Austerity?
No.
had, after a particularly vicious beating with a soup ladle, changed his tune, but didn't want to look too eager.
Yes, I'm also an analyst and a therapist, which makes me a theralist.
Prison had taught Tobias at least one thing.
Let's have a roundabout, and what we'll do is just take a comfy pose, and let's find out about each... Oh my goodness. Wow, well, seems as if we are amongst royalty here. I'm sorry, how old are you? 23. Ah, well within my rights.
Lucille was also fitting in with a new group that turned out was not tech support, led by China Garden's sister,
You
Olive.
play mahjong before?
Our beach club used to have a Jewish day. Your move, Olive Garden.
I can't concentrate. Playing mahjong without cigarette is like playing video poker without cigarette.
Why are we not allowed to smoke in this stupid prison?
Oh,
What is it about that lady?
I know a loophole.
Huh?
Loophole?
It was a loophole that would get Lucille accepted as a full-fledged member of the Jade Dragon Triad.
You couldn't have chosen a harder word to say.
And soon the dragons were taking drags on their cigarettes again.
There's always a way to get what you want.
My husband is a very powerful man, Lucille Blues. Perhaps we can help each other get what we want.
Lucille shared her new prison alliance with her husband.
I got Olive Garden to offer us unlimited bread. So I paid off the debt on the land. Who better than the Chinese to help us build a wall, right?
So, the Chinese will own a piece of the wall between the U.S. and Mexico?
They'll own all of it, but they'll make us very rich in the process. Because the government still needs to buy that border property from us.
But what George hadn't told her was that after finding money to surreptitiously pay off incumbent politician Herbert Love to support the wall project he was hoping to build,
I am going to put this on my wall.
George Sr. discovered the property he'd purchased to sell back to the government for it
You told me
wasn't actually on the border. It was 50 feet south of the border.
Well, excuse me, but I was going off Buster's map.
It had been made on Buster's map. One that he had made as a cartography student, because the class where you get to see naked people and draw them was full. And George Sr. couldn't ask Herbert Love to rescind his support for the wall.
And make him a flip-flopper. I can't do that.
Actually, he'd tried, but couldn't afford it.
It's a 40 for the flip and a 40 for the flop. And since it's going to come back 40, 40, 40, flip flop and a
And I just wonder if we're not in that treason-adjacent place where the government will retaliate and execute us.
Oh, they never execute a woman for this. I have a good feeling about these people.
Oh, that's good enough for me.
Now that's
Tobias was making a new start of himself when a patient entered that had already done so.
Sorry I'm late, everybody.
Debris.
Tobias!
I didn't know if I'd ever see you again.
In fact, when Tobias turned down Lucille II's job
For
offer,
a hamburger, and you turned on $120,000 a year?
The doctor in India told me that I have the gift to make people laugh. Why are you crying?
a desperate and confused Debris soon fell in with Mark Cherry and an entourage that would make anyone feel like they'd hit bottom.
Yeah, you look great. Very, very healthy.
Yeah, I haven't had anything for 6 weeks. Mark C. Check Mark Cherry. No.
She reminds me of my grandma. Real sick version.
So sweet. So how are you?
Good. Gosh, great. Yes. After you left, I booked a guestie on a hidden camera show. Yes. Could you give me 1 second to organically get... And I'm also a registered sex offender. How are you?
So, you two know each other.
This got the
Yes, we
attention
do.
of Argyle
We-
Austero.
We're a couple of sorts. Or are a couple? Or are you?
Do you have time for a chat?
Yes.
If you and Debris had a previous relationship, there is no way you can be her therapist.
But I love her. Surely there must be some way we can be together.
I'm sorry, I can't allow it. Sobriety is too important. I am only sober because musical theater saved my life.
Is that right? I'm somewhat of an actor myself. I just had something on the air 3 weeks ago. It wasn't as myself, but whatever fills out the reel, yes? I ain't no squeal.
Kitty escaped the country.
Mr. Weathers, Carl Weathers. I got here as soon as I could. I'm Dr. House, and it's called GBH. The graft is rejecting the host. You know, we could put on place is littered with talent. I could direct, we could get Mark Cherry to do the music, and we can cast it with Patience.
I don't know if I'd want to risk Patience sobriety with that kind of pressure.
But like a dog's wagging tail, Argyle's tapping feet betrayed him.
Well, when it comes to Debris, you don't have to worry about her being under pressure because she's a professional actress.
Which also made its way onto Tobias's reel for some reason.
She was in the movie The Fantastic Four.
Oh my God. I was in the Fantastics.
Look at that.
My sister and I played the young lovers. I can see it shining somewhere, and I'm ready.
It was uncanny how much the two men had in common.
They used to call me Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. F.
Wait a minute. Debris played Sue Storm. You played Mr. Fantastic. I have a suit made of rocks. If I can get it back from the state of California, we shall mount a musical of the Fantastic Four.
I don't like it. I love it.
Huzzah!
I
can hear sing it.
Tobias wasn't the only family member to have show business aspirations of his own.
Excuse me.
Michael had recently become a producer.
It's one of the perks of having a movie
But
maker.
not before being told they were going to need everybody's signatures on those releases in order to make this movie. Although the real heartbeat of this thing is the dynamic between the father and son, or words to that effect. Although he would soon be forced to admit he was only doing so
To
to...
impress this girl whose name I don't even know.
Actually, the girl was accomplished actress Rebel Alley, and Michael had recently bumped into her. And perhaps it was because she reminded him of a woman he lost.
Yeah, there's a part for a wife, and you'd be perfect for the movie.
Do you like Scottish music? I'm in a band.
Yeah.
We're playing at the Ealing Club tomorrow night, and maybe you could come.
I've got this crazy idea that I'm going to turn into a star with a film that I can't get made because I can't get my own father's
And George
signature
Sr.
on a release.
surprised Michael by signing over his
It
rights.
was about lying to a girl. Give me the release. You do this for me? Of course I will.
And then unsurprised him.
If you'll do something for me. I knew it. Michael, you got to get this love guy against the wall between the U.S. and Mexico. That's not right. You're really opposed to this wall, huh? When did you become pro-immigrant? I have changed, Michael. I cry at the drop of a hat, and I hate the way I look. I actually had one cute hat, and it blew off at the CVS parking lot. And this whole ran over it for no reason. And they saw it. They saw it. Michael. Anyway, I live down there now. And I care for these people who just want to come into this country and ply their wares and let us freely fill the bay with their culture. Hey, don't get me started on the Cinco, Dad. I haven't been to one in 20 years. There's going to be blowback there. It's just going to happen. You can't swim in that bay for a month after without getting nacho cheese sauce in your hair. It's coming. Could you help me, Ben? With love? At his speech? At Cinco? Can you do that for your dad? Of course I will.
So the old family was back together again, on paper. While Lucille had a new family of sorts, and as she had done with her last one, she was soon turning them on each other.
She said you're fat. That's what you said, right? Or does that mean something different in Chinese?
No, it means fat.
You keep causing trouble, you're going to end up with the noodles in your belly.
I like noodles.
Not this way, very hard to digest. Ancient Chinese secret.
It's no secret. We'll kill you.
She was even being controlling
You
of the
get that?
RAPHOC WCPS reality TV crew.
You need a clean of her making the thread. I can lean back, but you will come around and get my reaction, yes?
Oh, I'll say it again. We'll kill you.
But soon the threat was made real.
Hello.
Oh! She's got a sharpened noodle! She's trying to noodle stab me! Get what you got! This will be more exciting if you jump cut it! Quiet! You can't just come in and have bread for nothing around here. You have to pay bills sometime.
Despite being threatened, Lucille was eager to claim her reward from a husband whose land she'd successfully gotten paid for.
The wrong
When
land?
George Sr. came clean.
Trying to get Love to come out against the war. We can't afford to build it if we're not selling the land back to the government. It'll ruin us.
It'll ruin us if we don't build it. George, you've gone puny again. Look, we make sure Herbert Love comes out against the wall right after we get enough of it up to trigger the government payment. And speaking of getting it up, look what's going on down here. You need a little more Marilyn like I did yesterday.
Oh shit.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
I don't want to be Mr. President.
Especially with all this going down. Oh, and speaking of president, what's happening with Job? You gave him a job.
Yes, but then I fired him. The only thing I've got back there are my bees. Bees? Bees! He caused my colony to collapse.
George, get him another job. He must have some favors you can call in somewhere. And then you can have some of my favors, Mr. President.
As much as I'd like to stay and lay some more pipe with you, I better get moving on this thing.
We've got to make this work, George. Send me some evidence of a wall I can show the Chinese and the government. We need to make this happen, George. The Chinese have more than a sharpened noodle with my name on it.
And soon George Bluth did just that.
Of the Bluth Company, and we built this wall. We have miles and miles of wall. Will you confirm that, soldier? It's about protecting our border, which is why we have a member of our armed forces with us today. Say hello. It's triple reinforced, steel reinforced, and I don't really know how to say that. What it does is it protects.
You can hear the show in the background.
That's it. Well, gosh darn it, it is Mexican proof. Sit up.
Hey, Carlos.
Daddy, my tummy's turning.
All right, it's triple reinforced.
Daddy, I gotta get out.
You're going to be. Oh, for God's sake, get out!
I need to get out. I need to get out. I need to get out.
We're not going to. We'll edit this part out. And anyhow.
But George Sr. hadn't built miles of walls.
So you can see there's nothing wrong with the internet connection.
It seemed that way.
Connected.
Michael, the producer, arrived to meet his Lady Cinderella man at the Ealing Club.